Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I hope you enjoy Monday so far, and especially for some of us who are having so much fun with OES app. How are you doing, Michael?
I am doing well, doing very well.
Good to see you. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Let let's give it a few more minutes for people to get on to the right program. Or maybe people are having so much fun with the OES app. It's
Mhm.
absolutely beautiful. Put in the comment if you're currently kind of playing around with it. Wow. OMG. Hope everyone's doing well. Anyway, let's get the program started. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Before we get started, I just wanted to shout out to everyone who are currently literally enjoying the app today. Back to the app. Enjoying the app so far. I hope that you love the color. What about if you could put in the chat if you're currently loving it? Kind of give us a little bit of what you love about the app. Did you see the message in the app when you first download? Did you see that, everyone? So I'm going to read it out loud here because it's really a nice message that when you download the OES app, and the only way for you to be able to download this OES app is in our back office. So if you already have the back office, the ecosystem, on passive ecosystem, please go into the back office and download the app right there. If you haven't, or if you are not in our ecosystem, please get back to whoever that shared this message with you here, and they'll have a link for you to sign up and get the app. All right. Or you can definitely go to onpassive.com to get it as well. All right. The OnPassive, we call it the OES app, offers network opportunities with influencers, a high conversion rate and ROI, and it's low and no risk. Really nice message. With OES app, you can benefit from AI driven solutions and tools, targeted traffic, access to an innovative lab, flexibility, and high rate of investment. High rate on investment. That's pretty cool. Um, with the OES app, offers the industry leading support and finance and high conversion rate, a vast marketplace, and a robust smart business solution. Um, Guys, if you haven't downloaded the app, the OES app, please go back into your back office, and it's okay if you have to um, you know move it over to the app store, excuse me, to the back office to download the app. Please do so, and we don't mind at all. You can watch this later. This is actually live broadcast from um, our home to your home via Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So if you anywhere you can get this conversation as well. Welcome, Michael. Welcome, everyone. Today is Monday, October 23rd, 2023. Michael and I are excited to come to these discussion because every discussion, every topic that we bring on here, we do hope that you find it valuable for yourself, either for your business, for your life, for your unpassive business. We do hope that we have already given you some of the ideas, and we do hope that we inspire you in some way, shape, or form for you being here. So let's have Michael saying hello to everyone. Hi, Michael.
Hello, everyone. I love Mondays, Julie. I love Mondays. Mondays are fun days. Mondays are just great, especially when we get to talk about on passive.
Absolutely, Michael. I do too. And especially this conversation we have every single Monday. It's really fun. So, welcome everyone. Today, the topic that Michael and I wants to talk about is on passive, the automation, the automation of on passive. Michael, I'm very sure that every company is seeking for innovative ways or methods to be able to boost their revenue or to improve productivities or even and also to streamline the operations. And I think it is a very extensive, very critical in this competitive market, this environment that we're living in right now. As business owners, we always looking out and see what else is out there, right? Business owners always recognize the needs how to leverage digital technology in such as automation to be able to improve their way of doing business, to improve their way of either running their business as well, somehow, somewhat, so that they can have a faster, smarter, more accurate in running their business. And automation of the business is super important to me, and I know that on passive has that it factors, and one of the it factors in on passive is automation. So let's start our conversation with that, Michael.
Yeah, wow. Automation, that's a mouthful, Julie. And it is something that we have to have in society, not just within on passive, but in society. I'm sure even within our homes, we could think of a variety of things that we have, that automatically do things for us, right? It's become a way of life, but certainly as we bring it back to the business side of things, you need to have it. You have to have automation in your business. There's only so many hours in a day. You have 24 hours. So if you can automate whatever activities that you need within your business to make your business run, more efficiently, be more effective, save yourselves a lot of time, energy, even money. So you want to automate as many process as possible. So on passive is definitely on the right track in wanting to bring an automated business to the world, that is truly automated, Julie. Something that is basically it's real. People can touch it, see it, all of that, experience it, right? But at the same time, make it in such a way that everyone can participate in it, everyone can benefit from it because it does not rely on self, right? And so that's the great thing about on passive is exactly that we can automate the entire process, so people don't have to do some tasks that are very difficult for people, and I'm sure we'll get into that as our conversation flows.
Absolutely, Michael. Today I really wanted to bring on some points that more focus on our daily business as a business owner. I wanted to focus on that today. Talking about businesses, every single business owner wants to collect some sort of data, right? Some sort of data. I remember when I was in college, doing a data entry job, right? That is another way of collecting data, right? And nowadays they have, bookkeeping, medical billing. We all have to spend an extensive amount of time to collecting data, to processing invoice, payment collections, and tracking bills. It is a huge task that a lot of people have to do it as an employee or yourself. When you are data entry those information, right now we're really relying on the human being factor of doing it. But with AI, with a system that powered by AI, it's really automatically done for you when you actually have the system is ready to go. It's really truly eliminating a lot of time and the risk factor of it, and also transaction errors too, Michael.
We make a lot of mistakes as human beings, right? So, instead of having someone else who have to double check, triple check your work and all of that, Again, you can automate the process by using artificial intelligence. And again, this is something. Automation is something that is certainly going to save, and already doing so, companies a lot of money, Julie. Because there's a lot of mistakes that do go on in day-to-day activities, routine activities within a company. And if you can eliminate some of that, not necessarily all of it, but certainly eliminate some of it, you're obviously going to improve your bottom line, right? So yeah, it's automation is something that's dear to me personally, right? Because I believe in working smarter, not harder, right? So anything that I can automate within my business, absolutely, it's the way to go. Why would you want to spend time doing tasks that you don't have to when you could be out on the golf course? As an example, you could be traveling, and you have your systems in place that's doing the majority of the work for you, right? So yeah, automation is crucial, 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 crucial to any and all businesses, and we're going to see a lot of that within on passive.
Absolutely. When it's talking about automation, we also want to talk about the performance and the accuracy of it. We cannot rely on human beings, right? Because sometimes, let's just say when we have a bad day, our performance is definitely different than on the day that and in terms of accuracy too. What if we didn't sleep very well at night? I'm very sure that our performance, our accuracy is totally different. So we cannot rely on human being for, doing the kind of work that we've been doing. We rather want to have us focusing on the things that we want to do to be the best version of ourselves, to be able to focus on our passion instead of doing all that data collecting, gathering informations, and then process those information. Yeah, I think that's another key point that it's important in terms of business as well, Michael.
Yeah, absolutely. When we think of like you're saying, people making errors, right? It's a given, Julie. Like every day, no one gets up and their day is just like fantastic, like every single day. No one does, and so especially those who have to leave their home, get to work, you're going through traffic. You never know. You may start out with a great day in the morning when you left your home, right? But all depends on how the traffic was. If you're someone who gets irritated, if you're stuck in traffic, you miss the bus. If you're someone who takes public transportation, all these things can impact your day. You get to work, maybe your boss is in a grumpy mood, and so that in turn impacts you. But when we're talking about technology, when we're talking about software, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, it's not emotional, right? It doesn't get caught up in that. It's not going to complain. It's not going to whine. It's not going to say, "Oh, I didn't get enough sleep last night, so just leave me alone." It's not going to take time off. So we can count on the technology to be there on time. It's not going to be late, right? And the list goes on and on and on as to why automation is important, right? But of course, with automation, you have to feed the information into it, right? You have to program it, you have to structure it, you have to set it to do the task that is needed, right? But once all that is done, so in other words, you set it up once and then you leave it alone, right? And it will run 24/7 for you, right? And so that's the beauty of automation. So more and more people are starting to, like the idea of having that, because who wouldn't want free time, right? If you have technology working for you so that you don't have to, now you have more time to spend with your family, right? So it's very important. Automation is something that I've been using, Julie, probably for the last maybe 20 years, right? It's very, very crucial within our business. That's for sure.
Absolutely, Michael. While you was talking, I was thinking, what if someone who actually have an important sale meeting or sale that's going on, you have to pick up a client's call, right?
Mhm.
And you probably have fun the night before for celebration. You're all kind of like drunk and not staying alert. And what if you have to pick up that phone call? An important phone call. You can't really depend on human being. That's the point I'm trying to say. Also, let's talking about the automatic in customer service, Michael. Isn't it awesome when we have chat is there? We have a chat box available where it's ready. You have a business online and you don't want to pick up phone calls for every customer service call coming in or answer customer service email, but you have something that's available. And exactly what you just said, you have to feed the information, you have to educate this bot, you have to educate it, the system, in order for it to do what you need it to do, which is very interesting. Talk about the elimination and the effectiveness of customer service too, Michael.
Yeah, well, that is something that we have been doing for so long now, right? Customer service, even though we're not support, you know, but yet it's something that we find ourselves doing. People have got questions, they got concerns, they got issues, something not working properly, and so again, that requires your time. It requires an individual to put time and effort in to addressing those, right? If we can have a chat bot, for example, that can address 70% of the work, then that only leaves 30% for human intervention, right? So that's certainly a good thing, Julie, and it's going to impact the bottom line for companies, right? To be able to minimize the cost that they have to lay out as far as addressing customer support, because customer support is very, very, very important. That is something you don't want to cut corners on, right? It's important to, you have to be able to take care of your customers. And imagine if you have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of customers, Julie. I mean, how do you manage that? You'd have to have thousands of employees, right? And so one of the things that we know with On Passive is that we don't need to have 10, 20, 30,000 employees. The company can function on anywhere from 500 to maybe 3,000 employees maximum, because of the infusion of the AI, right? If you put all these things within the technology, within the tools, the products, and minimize the work that others have to do. So that's a good thing for all of us, Julie, right? And we know, right? I mean, how many of us, know have all the answers to the various questions that come along, right? We always turn to someone else. Okay, I'll get right back to you, and we have to go to someone else to get the answers, right? But if you can, feed the AI, feed the chatbot, with various scenarios and so on, it learns, right? As more information come into it, it learns and it grows and it expands, right? If people can think of Siri, right? And when it first came out, right? And limited knowledge, but as time went on, you can see that it's now equipped to answer a lot more questions than in the beginning, right? And so that's exactly how that works, and that's important. And so we're going to see more and more of that, Julie, especially when it comes to On Passive. We're going to see that technology will be addressing a lot of questions and concerns for customers, as opposed to having people that have to take care of phone calls and all. We're still going to have live support, because that's also important, because if the bot can't answer it, what do? Right? So you still have to have live support, but you can minimize the live support because the chat bot or the AI will be able to address most of the customers' concerns.
Absolutely. It's beautiful how it's already set up for you to take care of customer as you're busy fishing. Let's talk about the compliance, using automation, because I know as business as massive as On Passive, as we have business that dealing across the board, export import, for example, right? We need to be compliant with the city, the region, or the country itself. You have to have um, data collecting of what needs to be done to meet up with that, what the regulations. So you have to have that functions. And what if a business started without knowing the compliance, the rule and regulations? You have to meet up. You have to meet that regulations that need it. So there is a part where data collecting and machine learning has already done it for us. All you got to do is plug it in the system. It's literally set it and forget it. And that's what we have here. It's compliance.
Of course. I mean, you want to be able to work without lifting a finger if you could, right? Can you imagine you go to work and you're working for 8 hours, but instead of you working for 8 hours, you only go to work for 1 hour because the other 7 hours, right? AI is able to do all that task for you, right? So people, if they had the chance, if they had a choice, would you want to work for 1 hour or would you want to work for 8 hours? Okay. They're going to tell you they want to work for 1 hour. Majority of people, right? And so with artificial intelligence, when you're talking about, Julie, the different countries, different regulations that are there, different industry of their own rules and guidelines. It's a lot for people to be on top of. Things are changing all the time, right? But you can program technology, feed it with all this data, right? It can store all that data and it can draw on its memory when needed to be able to provide whatever service is necessary, right? To making sure they're always given the correct information, the up-to-date information. Compliance is again, another important area, especially when you're dealing with customers, right? And when you have a company that's working across borders, that's also important because what could be, correct and even legal in one country may not be in another country. Okay. And so you don't want to be working outside of the scope of what your business is licensed to do. Right. So all these things are important. And again, we can feed data, we can program software to be able to assist us so then that way the work, becomes minimal. Right? People want to enjoy life now, Julie. That's why we see the rise of social media, and we see, a lot of social influencers and YouTubers and so on, TikTokers. People trying to find different ways and means to generate their income as opposed to having some fixed 9 to 5 job. We've seen, especially through the past few years of COVID and so on, more and more people are working remotely. All these things are playing a role. And we're going to see where artificial intelligence, which is part of machine learning, automation, all of that, they all, work synergistically together. We're going to see how all that comes together and be able to help our bottom line. This is the age that we're in right now. This is the direction that we're moving in. And people can just sit back, relax. That's why when we reached out to people about On Passive, Julie, so many responded because of the need. Right? The need to be able to have automation, the need to be able to, automate the sales process, the need to be able to automate generating customers and so on. There's a massive need because it's very difficult for people to do all of that. We've talked about this so many times that most people can't sell, right? And so if you can't sell, then how do you make money, right? But if you have automation involved in that process and it's making the sales on your behalf, then it's a complete win-win for you, right? And so that's what we have here on Passive specifically. But of course, it can be found elsewhere as well.
Absolutely. I love talking about On Passive, and there is a few abbreviations or a few letters that we've talked about this before that really is the seed of information for me, and everyone should already know this. Automation is one of the letter, right? I'm talking about CATMO, CATMO. Everyone already know it. And if you haven't been and haven't seen what On Passive is all about, I like to take really a moment to talk about it. See, it's a complete digital solution. Where can you find a complete digital solution? Which company have you found a complete digital solution? Everything that's needed online, digitally, is an On Passive, and it is automated. It's automation powered by AI, and it's delivering targeted to wherever that you want to direct it to, right? And then M, obviously, we all know when you are in On Passive, when you love the product, you try the product, you love the product, you purchase the product, you have a chance to earn income, and you have a chance to literally resell it. And to me, once you purchase the product, you literally own that product, and you be able to have a license to sell it, right? And O, it's on passive. To me, on passive is over delivering whatever that they are doing. Look at the Jitech show over the weekend. Look how massive it's delivering. It's over deliver, right? To me, also letter O is representing a complete circle, complete circle of human being connecting with each other, complete circle of digital products that working together, literally intertwine with each other to deliver the result, a massive result. And so I know Catmo is something that is very small, but to me it is a seed that grows my own passive business. Because of Catmo, I was able to connecting dots and dots and dots, and I'd be able to see a bigger picture. In order for you to really understand on passive, Michael, I believe you got to understand that small seeds.
Yes, well, small seeds do add up. There's no doubt about that. But if people want to have a lasting income, Julie, right? Then the only way to do that is to have a real business, right? Like no one is going to go work for a company, right? You're going to go and interview for a job only to find out, well, the company's going to disappear 90 days later. Like who would want that, right? Who'd want to waste time every 90 days? You have to find a different job, a different job, a different job, a different. After a while, you get fed up, right? And so, to me, it's the same in looking for an opportunity, looking for a business that you can, grow with. You can't grow in 90 days. You know what I mean? You can't grow in 6 months. You can't grow in 1 year. Not generating the type of income that you're looking for, right? So a real business takes time for all of that to happen. And so that's why you want to align yourself with a real company, right? A company that actually have real products, a company that actually generates revenue by the sale of these products, not because you're recruiting people, not because money's just being, falling out of the sky. You know what I mean? There has to be sound financial, economical principles that govern your business, right? And so we know with on passive, we're making money because we're selling products. If we have no products to sell, we're not making any money. If we're just sitting here right now and there's no sales going on, then we're not making any money. That's a real business because that's how it works. If you go open up a stall and you're selling some fruits and vegetables, right? If nobody come inside there, are you making money? Absolutely not, right? You need people to come in and to purchase whatever it is that you're offering, right? And that's how you make money. On passive is no different. And so we want to have that long lasting income, right? I don't know why these people are really trying to get a hold of me, Julie. I guess they don't know my schedule. Okay. Right. So, you have to, in order to have that long lasting income, right? We want to make sure that we've lined ourselves with a company that's going to be here 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. People go to their work, right? Their careers. And it's usually over 40 plus years, right? No one works for 10 years. Okay, I retired now. No, that's usually not the case. The beauty about on passive is that we don't have to trade our time for the money. We don't have to put in 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. We don't have to work 3, 4 different jobs. On passive is a business that is here to help us generate wealth by being in that reseller mode where we're selling products, Julie. And as a result of that, we can see our income grow, even while we're sleeping, right? And that's a beautiful thing because that's how you create true wealth. True wealth cannot be created in a 9 to 5 job. It cannot be created by you exchanging your time for money because unless you're, charging $10,000 an hour or something, you know what I mean? Like it just can't be done. You have a fixed amount of time. And with that fixed amount of time, how much can you possibly charge for your service, right? And so if you want to generate that wealth, it has to come from outside your typical working hours. right? And this is where the automation comes in, Julie. This is where the artificial intelligence come in to be able to do all the tasks that is needed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That is how you generate wealth. Because if you think about it, do the numbers. Take whatever small amount of commission that you want to use as your example, right? And just look at activities going on day in, day out, every single day. There's a little activity. There's a little bit of sales, a little bit of sales, a little bit of sales, and it just goes on. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, right? Like I said, small amount of seeds, they eventually add up, into something massive, Julie, that people can rest assured and be comfortable knowing that, there's this technology, there's this company called On Passive that is working on their behalf, right? They don't have to be present. There is no physical place for them to go and say, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to start. We're talking about a digital business. We're talking about being on the internet, right? So I can be in any country I want to be. I can be in Bora Bora, Julie, and still generating income while I'm in Bora Bora and in some nice beach. I can be in Tahiti, wherever, right? That's what Capmo is all about. Be able to have a complete automated business, right? When we say complete automated, that includes the traffic. Because if your business is automated, but there's no traffic that's coming to it, then it's not really automated, is it? Right? There's still work that you need to do. So you want that complete picture, that complete process taken care of for you because you're not the expert. You don't have the expertise. You don't know where to go find traffic. You don't know where to find visitors. You don't know where to find people that's looking for what you have. And you can't put the technology together. You can't create the products, right? And so on. So if you have a company that can do all of that for you, that's what you want, Julie. That's the ideal situation. And we have exactly that on Passive.
Yes. Talk about a complete circle with product, real business, real people behind it. But when we're talking about automation, how to, feeding the data and using the data like machine learning, you got to have the real people behind the scene. You got to have the right people with the right heart behind the scene, because as I understand a little bit with AI, you have to input the data. You have to tell AI, to me, it's like a giant, animals or the giant machines behind. You have to feed the right data, the data with heart. And that's why here in On Passive, it's AI with heart because of the right people. Let's talk about the people behind On Passive, Michael.
Well, you certainly have to have the right people, Julie, because we know people are corrupt, right? We say systems are corrupt, but it's the people. It's not really the systems, right? It's the people, because the people are the ones who create the systems. Okay, and so if you don't have people that actually care about others running that company, right, that business, you're just going to go down the path like all of the businesses before. Okay, and we know that path doesn't lead to success for everyone. It's not a win-win situation. That's the path that leads to success for a handful of people, right? And so that's important. So it's important to have a CEO such as Ash Mafara, right? Our CEO goes above and beyond what is necessary for us to succeed, right? He's working tireless hours, a lot of hours put in, time away from his family. Even if he's at home and working from home, right, and the family's there, he's still away from them because he has to focus on the task at hand, right? I work from home, but it doesn't mean that I'm with my family every single hour of the day, right? I'm in my office, I close the door, they're not seeing me. Yeah, they know that I'm here, but they're not seeing me. We're not spending quality time together, right? And so you have someone with that mindset, to do it or die, that they're willing to put everything into this business because it means so much, right? So you have the CEO, then you have the staff. You have Muhammad Kamal, you have Muhammad Nazal, or marketing guru. We have Dr. Susan, and the list goes on, Julie, of all the great staff partners, if you wish, that we have it on passive that is working tirelessly. You mentioned Jitex Global, okay, and we've seen the videos from there, right? And just think of the time and energy that goes into that, right? To come up with the ideas of how to present on passive, in such a massive platform, right? All these things, it takes time and energy, Julie, and it can be draining after a while. You're flying from one country to another country and so on, right? To be able to have the teams them right in Hyderabad, India, in Dubai, Singapore, Egypt, to have the teams them working together, even though they're not face to face. It's a lot that goes in there. To be in the U.S. and you're working with a staff that is 9.5 hours time difference. It takes a lot. These are things that a lot of people don't think about because you're just focused on yourself usually, right? You're just thinking about, well, okay, I go to bed, I wake up, I'm good. Okay, but while you're sleeping, there are people working on your behalf. Right? While you're awake, there are people working on your behalf. When you're at your job, there are people working on your behalf. When you're spending time with your family, there are people away from their family that are working on your behalf. So you have to have the right set of people, Julie. People who are ethical, people who want to do things the right way, people who would take their time to make sure it's done correctly, right? So that we put our best foot forward. So that when we present our products, when we present to the marketplace, people are getting the best of us. They're getting the most value for their buck, right? Even in products that are free, Julie, what they're getting is worth far more than free, right? There's a cost to it, okay? And so the company absorbed that cost to give it to the customer so that they can, enhance their situation, right? The paid products. Okay, you make things that are wonderful, that are fantastic, that people love, but yet you minimize the cost to them, Julie, so that you're not, sucking money from their pocket unnecessarily, right? So it's all these things that come together that make OnPassive what it is today, and we could see, the giant leaps to come as a result of all of that, though, because once you lay that foundation, Julie, right, and if you have a solid foundation, you're unmovable, right? Unless some, I don't know, 10.0 earthquake comes, you know what I mean? Like, we are so grounded, right? OnPassive is so stable. Solid foundation. It doesn't get any more firm than what we have, Julie. And that's important if you want to make life-changing income. We don't want to be in a company that's going to disappear a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5. We know most new companies, they fail, right? Most companies fail in the first 5 years. Okay, that's just factual. That's just how it is. Okay, but when we look at OnPassive, all we can see is the next giant. That's all we can see because it is that big and it is that successful already. Wait for another year, Julie. Right, a year from now, can you imagine? Right, so as it becomes more and more adaptable, as more and more people, you touched on earlier at the beginning of the show when we talked about the app, the OES app, right? So imagine having an app for each of the products that we'll have, right? Again, making things more accessible, more easy for the end user, for the customer, right? And this is how you build an empire, Julie. And we are a part of this, right? On our own, there's no way we could come up with something like this, right? But here's a company that's willing to give and share with us. Even though we're not doing the heavy lifting, they're willing to share with us, Julie. That's just fantastic. So I love Catmull and I love OnPassive.
Me too. And I love the fact that you brought up also the app. I wanted to go back and talk about, you brought up the foundation of it. I think it's really important. Any kind of business need to have a ground and solid foundation. Looking at our OnPassive ecosystem, that is the foundation also for our business. I mean, Look at the ingredients that are going into the ecosystem itself, Michael, the entire back office. And now you take that, I don't have a word, that back office, and you put it in the app, single sign on, and you get access to everything that is on there in that phone, in this phone. Like literally, you log in, you have everything, your wallet, your product, and you rightly said so. All the product in there that have its own app that combine. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, there's so many ingredients that goes in there. And you're talking about the amount of work that our tech team spend behind the scene to build that. And that's just only a part of Unpassive so far. It's only probably 5 to 10%. It is amazing to have the group of people behind Unpassive be able to build that foundation, single sign-on, everything is accessible in the palm of your hand, like literally.
That's just a nice recipe for success, right? A nice recipe for a 7 course meal, Julie. You
For
know,
life,
se-
Michael.
a 7 course meal is not the norm, right? I think most people have a 1 course meal, right? 7 course meal is not the norm. Even at some high end restaurants, they don't even offer a 7 course meal. But that's just try to help people understand what unpassive is. It is out of this world. It really is that once in a lifetime opportunity, right? And I'm so grateful that so many, right, hundreds of thousands, have embraced it, or paying attention to it, are being engaged, right? Because you just have to. You don't want to miss it, right? You don't want to miss anything. This is why like every day is an on passive day, like every day is, right? Because you don't want to miss anything at all. Because down the road when people are talking about on passive, the smile that's going to come on your face, because of a sense of pride, right? You're going to be so proud that, no, yeah, oh, I was there behind the scenes, for 5 years in the making before we open up to the all these stories are going to come out, and people will. Well, I know you're going to cry, right? But a lot of other people will be shedding tears of joy, of course. Just because of going through the process, Julie, and understanding that, wow, this is actually real. Like you're actually part of this, because someone said, you know what, I'm gonna do things different, right? It is possible that all of us can win. We don't have to be in a competitive state where we're fighting each other for crumbs. There's more than enough that is there for all of us to be able to have our full. So it's just incredible, right? There's no doubt about that. And so as we move forward, Julie, and people start to engage with the automation, starting to see how things are going to be easier for them. People who were unable in the past to generate even one customer will be able to close their eyes and actually generate customer while they're sleeping. That's how simple this business model is. But again, just like everything else, there's time involved, right? It's certainly not overnight. 5 years is not overnight. In the big picture, in the grand scheme of things, yes, it is from a business standpoint, right? But for people's life, no, 5 years isn't it's not a blink, but it's well worth the wait, right? Can you imagine you're sitting there and you're at the restaurant and the meal is going to be good because it's a top chef and nice and fancy place, all of that, and you're sitting there just anticipating what that food is going to taste like, Julie, and all of a sudden it's delivered and you dig in and you're just speechless because it's so good, right? Think of your favorite food, whether it's a meal, whether it's a dessert, an appetizer, or whatever the case may be, just your favorite meal. Think of that. right? And just think about the first time you've had that meal, you've tasted it, right? And how you felt. You know what I mean? Um, this is this is on passive, folks. This is on passive. This is what we have in our hands. And if you're out there and you're not a part of on passive, you are missing out, right? This is somewhere you definitely have to, you know,
Be
experience, right? You have to experience it for yourself. It's one thing when someone tells you about something, but when you actually experience it for yourself, like I can sit there and tell you all about Tahiti as an example, Julie. Okay, but if you've never been there yourself, it's just not the same, right? But when you've actually experienced it, right, then we can talk, then we can actually relate, we can be on that same level because we both of us have experienced it. That's on passive. People have to experience it for themselves.
um, it is so satisfying, and sitting here, having a question for myself and also for everyone's that listening to this. Have you ever experienced the happiness in your heart, the true happiness, not just a, on top, not just on the surface, but when is it that you actually truly felt your heart happy? Like literally, heart and mind happy, and you don't have to worry about a thing. I believe, Michael, with on passive, with all the automation, with everything that is going in to on passive, with that complete circle that I was talking about, there won't be much of competitions. There won't be much of corruptions. There won't be, because everybody get to complete their freedom equation, right? We talked about freedom equation in this program,
Mhm.
right? You create that momentum and you keep going, and when you finish, when you complete that circle, when you complete that freedom equation, you have a very satisfying heart and mind, and all you do is be the best of you, what you're created for, what you're putting in this world is for. And truly, down deep down my heart, everybody in this world, if they're in on passive, or if they are being with the people that are in on passive, they will experience that freedom of life, freedom of the total freedom, what we're talking about. And you can only find it within on passive. You have to be in that circle, that complete circle. And we're very grateful for, first, for the opportunity to be here, for the time being here, and for the people behind on passive that continuously working 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year to deliver this to the world. And truly, what we said before, on passive is truly a gift that keep on giving, whether or not you are the end users or you choose to be an affiliate. It is a gift that keep on giving.
And it's a gift that I wholeheartedly receive, Julie. Receive it with open arms,
Yep.
because you know there are not too many gifts in life, right? From people outside of your circle, you know. People don't walk around and say, "Oh, here you go. You get a gift and you get a gift." We're not Oprah, okay? So it doesn't work like that, right? In real life, but when I look at this, all I think about, Julie, is that no one really wants to work, week after week, month after month, year after year, to get little pay and at some point retire, but yet not really retired. You know what I mean? If
Mhm.
we think of people who are, 65 and older, so many of them, they struggle, right? And can you imagine you've worked for 40 years and then you're still struggling after working for so long? That it blows my mind, right? It really blows my mind. For that to happen for people. You work for a company for so long, and yet they're unable to take care of you, right? You've paid taxes for so long, and yet the government can't take care of you, right? because the government don't have no money. I mean, that's, but that's another story, right? The point is, no one wants to be in that situation, Julie, right? And this is why millions of people go searching, right? They're searching for a way out. They try this, they try that. People try options trading, people try forex trading, people try real estate. They tried MLM, network marketing. People try so many different things, Julie, and it's always the same result: failure after failure after failure after failure. And even though so many are failing, you still have new people venturing in those same ventures that's going to give them the same results that the other folks have been receiving, which is failure after failure after failure, right? And so this is why, for me, I will run around, not literally running around, but basically approach as many people as I possibly can to share the good news about OnPassive, how you can have this complete automated business that's going to do the task that is needed, right, to help you finally win, right? And so that message has resonated with 1.4 million plus. And that message continues to resonate with people, Julie, because they're still searching, right? So my thing to them is that your search is over.
Yeah.
OnPassive, a one-stop shop. It's all you really need, right? Whatever you're looking for financially, it can provide it, right? So, since I know that, right? Because some people may not know it, Julie, right? But I certainly know it. Okay. I'm so confident in sharing it with people. Come get a free account and just take a look at what we have to offer. It's as simple as that. They come to take a look, and they start to understand what OnPassive is about. They start to see for themselves, Julie, that it is different, that it isn't the same as A, B, C, D, E that they've tried before. Because there is no trying in OnPassive. There isn't. There's no trying, right? Because to succeed, right, the roadmap is clear. All you have to do is to be in, right? And you're going to succeed. Be in. Follow the steps, follow the guidelines, being tuned with what is needed. It's simple. This is why someone who's 80 years old can win with OnPassive. Someone who's 18 years old can win with OnPassive, right? This is the beauty about this business, Julie. It is for everyone, everywhere, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what country you're in. This business is for you. Over 190 plus countries represented in OnPassive. Why? Because it just makes sense. It just makes sense, Julie.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you know that, everyone, OnPassive is a gift that doesn't come with an agenda, that doesn't come with condition, right? It's clean. You could just accept the gift. That's it. And like literally what you're saying, like we're not saying we're running around, but this is a gift that keep on giving. That means there's no stopping. And the amazing thing with OnPassive, how the way it's creating, there's no limitation, right? There's no limitation on it at all. The best part of it is, yeah, no condition. There's no, you have to. It's completely on our own choice of what you want to do with it. And that's the part where I don't see it anywhere. And I am experiencing the freedom right now because of OnPassive.
There's no
No,
place like home. There's no place like home. OnPassive is home, Julie. People
absolutely.
just need to get it. And if they don't get it, you know,
It, it's a
what can we say?
yes, it's a home that everybody love each other, right? It's a home that's full of satisfaction, fulfillment.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You
speechless.
know, you're you're gonna have some people, Julie, that they say they want success, but they really don't.
Mhm.
Some people are actually scared of it, right? They're scared of what will happen if they, you know, Okay, if I become wealthy, oh my gosh, you know, so many people are gonna want from me. It's a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
to be
And when
wealthy is a good problem to have.
yes, and when that happens, you have to go back into the core of this business. What is the core of Unpassive? Not to make us tons of money. What is the core of this business? Is to
Mhm.
lift up humanity. And it is
Absolutely.
so important for all of us to continue to walk in this journey and know that is the core of my business. We're talking about automation, we're talking about the technology, we're talking about freedom, we're talking about financial freedom. But if we don't focus on the core of this business, those stuffs are meaningless, right? You can have the people behind the scene working so wholeheartedly with all their heart, their mind, their talent to do that. But once you receive the gift and then you take those for granted, right? So always we got to go back to the core of this business is to lift up humanity. And so that is a message we wanted to continue to say to people. It's not about, have a business to live the rest of your life, but it's about lifting up humanity. And I think that's really true important. So what is your takeaway from on passive as of this point? That is the questions that we all have to ask ourselves. And yesterday I was in the Hero webinar, and the questions that I'm asking everybody is, what is on passive to you? Right. So those are the questions that we need to focusing on, answer it, and be able to I guess communicate with other, be able to share that with other, with your conviction of what is on passive, what is the core of this business for you.
That is something that resonates with a lot of people, Julie. To be able to uplift humanity, to be able to help your brothers and sisters, to help your neighbor, it is something that is universal, right? And when you can get that from a company, from a business, uh, it will just grow like wildfire, right? Mr. Ashmafara was smart, brilliant, I would say, to be able to get so many to come along, because it will spread that much faster. You'll be able to help way more people, Julie, by starting out with 1.4 million versus starting out with one, right? Just think about that, right? Just think of the multiplying factor that comes into that. That's how you get to reach every country around the globe. Can you imagine if it was only just for Americans, or just for Canadians, right? But being in 190 plus countries, there's a founder, right? A founding member, an early adapter, right? That's in like every country, right? So you already have someone there with the seed in them, right? To be able to go out and plant and be able to have wealth blossom throughout that particular country just by being a giver, right? Taking their newfound wealth and starting to give, and give, not taking cash and here you go, but give within the community based upon what that community needs. Maybe the community needs, clean water, as an example. Okay, so being able to put in place a system that can provide clean water to that community. Maybe it's education, right? So be able to provide academy as an example, right? Whereby they can stay right where they are and receive the necessary education that they need, and the list goes on and on. People that are homeless, okay, maybe it's to be able to use that newfound wealth to help people get off the streets, find proper shelter, affordable shelter, right? And so on, right? That's what On Passive is about at its core, right? At its core, be able to help you be in a position where you can now be that giver, right? So it's just brilliant how this model has been put together, Julie, and we've seen it already. We've experienced it already, right? Just a little bit, okay, but we've experienced people helping people already, right? And so, that's just going to get bigger and bigger. It's going to mushroom into a much larger, success as we start to reach out and help people around the globe. That's the best part about On Passive. It really is. It's not just for me. It's not just for you. It's not just for us. But as we take that newfound wealth and we spread it around, Julie, there's so much that we can accomplish. Because we know that there's more than enough here for every single person. Almost 8 billion people on this planet. There's more than enough. There's no shortage, right? There's only shortage because people hoard. People keep stuff to themselves. People are selfish. People are greedy, right? On Passive doesn't have any of those things in it, right? On Passive is about giving, right? And as you said, it's the gift that keeps on giving, So I look forward to the years ahead of us, Julie. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Do make sure that you check out our On Passive YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos coming out in regarding to the JITech. It's beautiful messages from our COO, our CMO, and Dr. Susan as well. Please check those out. Thank you so much for being here. We do hope that you enjoyed this topic today. And we look forward to see you next time. Thanks so much, Michael. Enjoy your day, the rest of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank everyone for being here with us. And certainly we look forward to next Monday.
For sure.
I love it, Julie.
Me too. Really enjoy this. Take care, everyone. Stay well and stay safe.